Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our show today is Secrets to Timeless Beauty. We're going to be talking about dating, ooh, scary, as we age with expert Katrina Valente. Let's welcome her and find out what she's been doing. By the way, if you're not following her on Instagram, I don't know what you're doing. Please go over and find her right now because she's doing dating chronicles as well as many other things. Hello, welcome to the show.
Hi, good evening, good morning.
Nice to see you. And you're looking very beautiful and glowing as always. So I know you've shared many of your secrets with us about how we can stay beautiful, some of the things we can stop doing. But today we're talking about dating, which we want to feel our best and look our best when we're dating, right?
We do. We have to, right? Especially in Dubai when we're competing with all the young girls.
Tell us a little bit more about the dating scenario in Dubai.
So it's big. I was just at a speed dating event, actually. There was about 75 people there, slightly more girls than there was boys. And we had 3 minutes to meet each man. So that was a bit crazy. It was very full on.
Tell us about a speed dating event for people who have not been there before. I mean, are you just quickly walking from table to table? What's happening?
So we go in, we pay our entrance fee, and the girls get free drinks for the first hour. So they leave you alone for the first hour to get you relaxed and mingle, see who's around. Everybody's checking each other out. And then they start the speed dating. So they've got lots of little tables for 2 people to sit across from each other, and they're all numbered. So the girls remain stationary and the men keep having to move on. So you're supposed to go 1, 2, 3, up to, I think there was 40 something tables.
Wow, that's a lot of networking. That could be exhausting, right? I mean, you want to look your best, but you're still going person to person to person. So what were your key takeaways from that?
There was too many. It was too exhausting towards the end. Even the guys were saying it, so it's like, oh God, I've got to talk to another person. And most people ask the standard questions. How long have you been in Dubai? Where do you come from? And what do you do? I mean, it is so boring. People, you have to think outside the box. What's the most exciting thing you've ever done with your life? What's the most memorable thing that, there's so many other questions. So you kept having to answer the same boring question over and over again.
I saw that on your Instagram post. What is your Instagram for people who want to go over there and follow you?
It's Katrina Valente and the number 1.
Okay. Katrina Valente, the number 1. We have it right here on the screen. So
and I have the speed dating. It's the last post that I did in the feed on speed dating. So actually the funny thing was, I've got to tell you, so there's another one coming up next month for over 40s. So I tagged the company called Mingle Dubai in my post. And then I sent them a private message asking that I wanted to book for the next over 40 session, and she told me it was sold out. I thought, I'm not sure I believe that. So she had commented on what I had written on the post, and I went online and I looked, and there were still tickets. So I bought a ticket for myself, and I'm going to go and I'm going to introduce myself to her, because she obviously didn't want me to go, which I found so pathetic. You know, what she should have done was offer me a free ticket and ask me how she could do better with her venue, because that wasn't just my opinion, it was the opinion of the two friends that I went with and several other people that we spoke to during the night. So I think as a business owner, it's very short-sighted.
I think that's a really valid point that you're bringing up, because we have to get feedback. If we're not open to feedback, then people will just disappear. They're not going to align with our branding anymore. And eventually we'll be sitting at a desk with no business. So I would hope.
Exactly. And I mean, my review was very fair. I mean, I said it was a good night out. It was my perspective only, but I gave the pluses and the minuses. So I was very fair. I didn't say it was bad or anything. So I think it's very unfortunate, but I'm still going to go. I've bought my ticket, and she's going to feel very embarrassed now.
It sounds like she will. I hope you have a good time there. What are you looking to take away? Is this detective work that you're doing? Or are you genuinely interested in meeting with someone?
No, I mean, I am interested in meeting someone, but the main reason that I went to that event was to get some content and to check out the scene in Dubai, because I've never been to something like that for many, many years. I mean, they did say it was an open age group, but it was slightly younger people in their 30s, and there was some people in their 40s, but it was a much younger age group in general. And interestingly enough, the three guys that I were most entertained by was a 27-year-old from Senegal, a 31-year-old from the UK, and a 35-year-old from the UK. So it's like, what does that tell you?
So this is a fascinating topic. What did it tell you, the fact that you're a beautiful woman, you're intelligent, you're successful, you have your own TV show? What did it tell you that these younger guys are interested in you, and how did that make you feel?
I don't know if they were interested in me. I mean, we weren't allowed to take any phone numbers until the end, but I didn't want anyone's phone number, and nobody asked for my phone number. But yeah, I mean, I think they're intrigued because they see that you're older and you don't really fit the standard older woman. So they're interested, I think, and intrigued. And of course, I have a lot of confidence. So I think it's just something different for them, you know?
Absolutely, I can understand that. And our topic today is dating as we age, and is it a different process? Because I'm not dating. So what is that process like, and why is it different than it was when we're younger?
Well, I thought about that topic because I was on a podcast the other day, and they're doing a few dating podcasts in Dubai. I'm going to be doing my own podcast very shortly. And the question was, is it difficult for women over 30 in the dating world? And I was laughing. I'm like, listen, let me tell you, it doesn't matter what age you are, it's the same. It's the same. Age does not play a factor in it, really. As we grow, this, we don't feel any different on the inside, right? And we face the same problems in dating. Men especially, younger, older, it doesn't matter. They're still playing the game. They're still telling lies. I mean, nothing changes. Nothing changes. only when you're older, obviously you're a bit older and wiser and you can see the jokesters coming. But apart from that, it's the same, you know.
Well, thanks for sharing that. And congratulations on your own podcast. That's exceptional. You have to let people know where they can tune in and if you're looking for guests. So, here's what I have coming up for me about dating as we get older. When you're younger, you may feel this need to get married. You may feel a need to have children, a family. You may be looking for someone either way to support you or to help take your lifestyle to another level. And as you get older, we may not be looking for any of those things, or maybe we are, I don't know. But I can't speak for anyone, I'll just speak for myself. So I wouldn't be looking for any of those things. I'd be looking for something else. And also when we're younger, maybe it's a situation where we want to be with the person 24/7. As we get older, we have our own business, our own needs, our own friends. Maybe we don't need someone around all the time. Do you think that those areas could be areas that are different?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, I think older women are not so desperate as maybe younger girls that want to have a family. But it's a growing trend. I don't know if it's because it's being highlighted to me, but there's so many young girls on Tinder and Bumble just blatantly saying, I want a rich man to take care of me, to buy me a car, to buy me a house, to take me out to expensive restaurants. I mean, stating that in their profile, and there'll be no sex, but you have to take me out and treat me like a queen.
Oh my goodness, that's
What world are we living in? I mean, shocking. And the sad thing is, you've got a lot of men that will do that. Excuse me.
Bless you. We used to have a dating show on this platform. We had two different people who were hosting it with me. It was a lot of fun. But what we found out over and over again was that people are not skilled at writing their profile. And the pictures that they
No.
pick, even if it's a decent
Yeah.
picture, it's not high resolution. And the things that they're writing are not things that are really showing them in their best light. Are you working with people for their profiles for dating sites? Are you going to be doing that?
I hadn't thought about it, but it's a good idea. But I think these girls, they just want a rich man. Period. Full stop. The end. And they don't want to do too much. One girl on her profile had said, I'm a woman, I don't have to do anything. It's just beyond pathetic, and it's sad, really. I mean, in this day and age where women are so successful on their own, you've still got this other category that expect to be paid for because of their beauty.
Now,
Or
Katrina,
alleged beauty.
on the other side, and I don't know if it's like this in Dubai, but we certainly have had instances of this in the States. There are men who want to be taken care of. They want to find a rich woman to take care of them.
Yeah, that's true. But you hear of that much less than you do of the woman here anyway. But yeah, I mean, I know a couple of guys that want a rich woman to just take care of them, and they can play with their toys and go camping and go to the gym and do whatever they do, you know.
How important do you think it is to have a partner who wants to work out with you? So, for example, you work out all the time. I work out all the time. When I was much younger, I used to have a guy I was dating. We worked out together, which was kind of fun. And now I have no interest in that. What are your thoughts about that? Would you like to have someone that you can do sets with at the gym? You could run next to in the treadmill?
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's important. Physical appearance is important for me. I've been in aesthetics for 28 years. You know, call it shallow, call it what you like, but I have to have a man that is appealing to the eye, and definitely 1,000% somebody that is in shape, for sure.
Okay, so I want to talk about that a little bit because I've dated some men who were really good looking and great shape, and then some others who were not. Now, Would you get involved in a relationship, like you're going to these networking things, if you saw someone who wasn't exactly what you wanted, but yet you had some kind of camaraderie, some chemistry? Is that a possibility for you? Is it a definite no?
It's a possibility, yes. I mean, yeah, there's someone in my life actually at the moment a bit like that. He's a little bit overweight, but he's got a lot of good qualities about him. So I'm exploring that a little bit, but it's very, very different for me because I've always dated fit guys. I mean, I was with a pro athlete for 8 years. So in my 20s, so that kind of set the precedence moving forward. So I was kind of spoiled early on, but because I take great care of myself, I would expect my partner to do the same. I mean, at the end of the day, it is your health, and without health, you have nothing.
That's very true. But I want to talk about that a little bit more, because I think this is something that we do as humans. You see someone and you see potential, or you feel a possible connection with them, and you think to yourself, okay, I'm going to get him to change the way he's dressing. I'm going to get him to start working out. I'm going to get him to stop this, stop. And all of a sudden, it's not even the same person that's there, but in our mind, we see a different person, and then we're going to try to morph this person into that person.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a mistake. I think you have to accept people the way they are, and if they want to change, then that's their doing. It's got nothing to do with you. I think the big mistake, and a lot of women have done this, they've tried to change for the man. It never works. It can only work short term, because you can't pretend to be somebody you're not for a long period of time. Unless you're the Tinder swindler, of course, but even he got caught.
Oh my goodness, I don't think I'm familiar with this person.
Oh, really? It was on Netflix. It was a guy that pretended he was very, very wealthy, and he scammed 4 women that spoke about it, and he like almost destroyed all of their lives.
I
And
did
one
see
girl,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody saw it, I think. And
Yeah.
he was just this complete scamster, and I think he's still doing it.
It's amazing. So, what I'm getting from you is that as we date and get older, that not much really changes. There's still a lot of games that are being played. There's still a lot of posturing and pivoting. And so, when is it, at what age do we finally say, hey, here it is. This is it. You like it, you don't like it. Instead of, I got
No,
to
I
do
mean,
my
I
face.
think I think that should happen in your 40s, I mean, by 40, if you haven't got it right, then I mean, I don't know. I think your 30s, you're still, I mean, I see 30-year-olds here. Some of them are very smart, but they're still in party mode and, sleeping around or whatever. But certainly at our age, we take no prisoners. I mean, I'm very direct, and I don't take any nonsense. And it's like, well, if I do this for you, what are you going to do for me? Because all my life I've given more. As a healer, you always give more. And now I'm not doing that anymore. Either you step forward, be the man, or get out of my way, because I'd rather be on my own. This is another thing. Women our age, we have been on our own for so long that it's normal for us. So to have a man in your life is added value. If he's not going to bring added value to your life, why have him? You're better on your own.
Excellent points. Now, I want to just try to clarify a couple of things, because when we were together a couple of weeks ago, you were giving us some recounts of dates that you had gone on. So when you're talking about what you're looking for, okay, you had one guy who was all over you, right, giving you flowers, and so that's not what you're talking about, because there are a lot of women out there who they do want that. They want the flowers, they want the constant touching, they want the dinner that's made for them. What is it you're looking for?
I'm looking for chemistry. I'm looking for an alpha male. I need an alpha male because I've got a very strong personality. So I need somebody that can put me in my place and tell me to shut up and, behave myself. And I have to look at a man and respect him. And men need that more than love, by the way. A man looks for respect before he'll look for love. And so, yeah, I need a successful man. And because I've lived a certain life, so I need somebody on the same level or above, for sure. Otherwise, what is the point? I've been a teacher to men my whole life, and I am now exhausted. So it's time for someone else to take the reins. If that comes along, great. If it doesn't, then I will continue on.
Katrina, I do have a question for you about what you just stated about men need the respect. That's the most important thing to them as compared to love. So I was listening to somebody on his podcast, and he was talking about marriage and that love is not what keeps a marriage together. So I'd love to have your thoughts on that. And also, what is the role that love plays in a relationship with a partner?
I agree with that statement. I think love is not enough. You have to have the same values. You have to know where your boundaries are. You have to have the same goals moving forward. You have to parent in the same way and agree how you're going to bring up your kids. And, intimacy is a bit different from love. And I think you have to create that and make time for sexual intimacy with your partner, because a man has to be fulfilled sexually. Otherwise, there's going to be problems in the marriage.
So let's just peel this back a little bit more, because I know people love to hear this kind of stuff. So you're in a relationship, whether you're married or you're not married, you're with somebody for a long time and you respect the person and you love the person, but the intimacy is just not there. Is that a relationship in your experience that's doomed?
Totally.
Can you elaborate?
1000%. It's doomed because each person is not going to be fulfilled inside that relationship, and they can put up with it with whatever reasons for maybe 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, but that is going to wear them down eventually. They're going to start having affairs, they're going to start arguments for no reason, and eventually the relationship will fall apart.
So it's interesting because even if you love someone and you respect someone, if you don't have that chemistry, that intimacy with them, it's still not enough. You have to have all three. That seems almost impossible.
You have to work on it. I mean, I think relationship is hard work, but I think if you both have the same goals, and what's most important above everything is communication. Most couples, interestingly enough, I was talking to this married guy that I know in the gym. I've known him for quite a few years, and he's lovely, very friendly, got very light energy, and he's 43, and he follows me. He knows what I'm doing. And I said, so I would like a male perspective on this from somebody that's been married. He's been with his wife for about 20 years, and he's only 43, and he's got 3 children. And he says, look, Katrina, he says, I'm telling you this because you're my friend. He says, I'm not unhappy, but I could be happier. And he says, I really miss my old life. And I said, well, what was your old life? And he says, well, just doing what I want, being me, going out when I wanted to go out. And he says, but he says, it's not that I want to cheat on my wife, but I want, what was the word he used? Attention from other women. He wants to feel validated in some way. And he said, it's difficult. And he says, they argue a lot. He said, things that I think she should understand about me, she doesn't. So here is a classic example of a communication breakdown. Most people will not fully expose who they are at the very core of their being. And you could be with somebody many years and you see it when people split up, how they change. And it's like, who is this person I was married to or in love with for, 2, 3, 4 years? So if you can be really raw and really reveal every part of yourself, that is what creates true, long-lasting intimacy and commitment in a relationship.
So let's talk about that then, because the title of our show is Dating as We Age. And we've talked about this before. Do you sit down at this networking event and you say, hey, I just want to let you know, here actually is a list about me. I have this, 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 this. I don't do this, this, this. What do you think of it? Or do you go out with them? You've got the chemistry, you're having some fun, and then you just, hey, by the way, I've got ulcerative colitis. Aha. I mean, like, when do you drop this information so that you are being truthful up front and they do know exactly who you are?
They say you should give a man 3 dates. 3 dates.
I thought that was the sex rule. I thought it was sex after 3 dates.
Well, I thought it was sex after 6 dates. Look, I think with sex, there's no rules, really. I think you've got to go with the flow of how you're feeling, because everybody's different, right? And I think what's most important is what you do after you've had sex and how you behave moving forward from there. I think that is the real telling sign.
Now, when you say after you have sex, do you mean immediately afterwards, like the person?
Like, no, the next day, the next few days, how you come back from it if you feel it's happened too quickly.
So you sleep with the person and then the next day you're like, oh, what did I do? But you still like the person. What do you do? Do you talk to them about it? Say, hey, listen, I'm really sorry, but we shouldn't have slept together. It was too soon. Now I feel very weird. I don't feel like we know each other. Then what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think you should try and communicate as best you can. I mean, sometimes it can be a bit difficult, but if you had great sex, then what is there to be sorry about? It's just about how you conduct yourself moving forward. Don't be a doormat for him. I mean, make sure that he gives you some respect. And, don't be calling him up, chasing him. I'll always remember my father used to say to me when I was very small, you don't ever need to chase a man. If a man wants you, he'll come and get you. And I firmly stand by that statement.
That is very true. It is interesting looking back over past relationships that I would chase after someone, and then when I finally broke it off and was not interested, even blocked the person, they found a way to get in touch with me. So yeah. I think there's a lot of validity in that. Now let's go back to the sex part. What if you have sex with them too soon and it was terrible, but you actually like the person and think, wow, maybe it's because we didn't know each other yet and we rushed into it?
I think the first time you have sex with someone, it's not an indicator for the future. I think, and especially if you don't know them very well, I think it's awkward. You don't know each other. You don't know what each other likes, dislikes. You're just kind of fumbling in the dark. I think this is why it's better if you can get to know someone a little bit better first, and then the whole experience is much nicer.
Well, there you have it. That's what we're talking about in regards to sex when you first meet someone. So it's interesting here in the US, it was always sex on the 3rd date. And at least that's what the guys would want, supposedly. And over there, you're saying it's 6 dates.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, different schools of thought have different equations, but I just think we're all adults here, we're all responsible for our own well-being. So it's an individual choice.
Now, let me just bring you back. So it's an individual choice, but it's obviously one of the big factors when it comes to dating, because people are thinking about it. It's like, yeah, could I sleep with him? Could I sleep with us? It's going through everyone's mind. And then it's like, what's it going to be like? And then when should we do it? When do we have the first kiss? When can I hold their hand? There's a lot that goes into that. And then, of course, there's also a lot of thought that goes into, when do I communicate with them afterwards? Do I text them as I'm driving home? Do I wait 2 days and look like I'm busy? There's so many games that go into this whole thing. What is your advice, your direction, based on all of your experience, about how to deal with that if it's not being candid and talking about it openly?
I think you have to be upfront initially. And I always say to the guys, look, I don't play games. I am who I am. This is what I want. What do you want? You know, and get that clarity on your first day. I mean, don't be too pushy, because you don't want to scare them off, but do it in a joking, fun kind of way. No man wants to feel pinned down. That is one thing for sure. And they want to be with a woman who's fun and light-hearted. But, you know, even when I've got on my profile on these dating apps, I'm looking for a long-term relationship and I don't want any one night stands, and still guys have said to me, oh, you're just saying that because you're trying to play hard to get. I mean, so you can't win, you know, but you just have to live your truth and walk your talk, and then they can see what kind of woman you are.
I think that's very valid. I think it's difficult, because my father always told me, don't give away, I forget, it was about the milk and the cow. If you give away the milk, there's something about the cow, or doesn't make sense. But basically, don't be putting yourself out there, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically. Make the other person show you that they're going to be around and that they're really interested. And I think that there's something to that. But then there's also something about the fact that I want to know if I'm going to be compatible with this person, right? Don't you want to know, is if you, let's say you date someone for a few months and you haven't been intimate with them, and then all of a sudden you're intimate, you're like, whoa, this is, and you just say, it's not going to work. I can keep seeing you, but I'm not going to be sleeping with you anymore.
I think that's rare. I think if you've been seeing someone for 2 months, if the chemistry is not there, then it's not going to be good in bed. I think there has to be some level of chemistry, because that's what creates good sex in the bedroom. You have to feel connected to this person in some way. You know, a woman has to feel desirable, a man has to feel like he's of value in your life. The knight in shining armor, it still remains, as old-fashioned as it might seem. But that's why men go for all these girls that want their money, because then they have complete control over them, and then they need them a lot, you know, even if it is for money. And then the guy gets the eye candy on his arm. I mean, there was a statistic, I can't remember what it was, that he told me in this podcast, and every woman wants a 6 foot tall, gym buff, rich, you know, older guy. And he said, but all these men want young women, and the percentages were very high. But I don't think all men are the same. And I mean, you know, I've dated much younger guys that have been very serious about me. So I don't think, there'll always be statistics, but I do think there's always exceptions to that rule. And I have met somebody recently that's definitely like that, and he's much younger than me.
Yeah, so obviously we can't generalize about everyone because we don't know, but we're talking about you and your experience. And with a younger guy, I imagine you have to have an incredible amount of confidence and self-esteem. Because if we look at, I'm not you per se, I'm saying a person who's in their 50s, 60s, we're not going to have the same skin, the same body probably that we had when we were in our 30s. There
Absolutely. No, absolutely, you know, and I've questioned it a lot with this individual. I'm like, you know, what are you doing with me? You know, you could be, because the truth is, they could be with a girl 10 years younger than them. Never mind 10 years younger than you, 10 years younger than them. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not something that I want to have in my life. I don't want to be with a guy 20 years younger than me. Even though you've got the mental capacity, you know, you connect on certain levels. I just don't think it's a relationship that's sustainable long term. And the one person that loses out is you, being the older woman, because I'm sure at some point he's going to get bored looking at your body, you know, bored seeing your wrinkles, bored with your different attitude. I mean, at the end of the day, that's a 2 decades ahead of them. Although I think younger people are very much more mature, much more well read than we were at that age, you know. But still, why would you want to do that to yourself? I think there's a lot of pressure on an older woman to be with a guy that much younger. I can do 10 years. I don't have a problem with 10 years, but 20 years, no, it's too much.
Now, Katrina, what about going the other way? What about being with a man that's 10 or 20 years older than you?
Never. Couldn't do it.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Look, my whole life I have liked younger men. I never got married, I never had kids. I've got a very young spirit. So it's not for any other reason than I match their personalities. I just get on better with younger guys. And I don't consider men in their mid 40s to be young, you know? So, but to be with somebody older than me, I just find them too old. You know, okay, if he's in shape, then good, I can deal with it. But most men older than me in their 60s, you know, they're not in shape. They don't look after themselves, the majority. And yeah, it just doesn't match the person that I am.
Well, there you have it. All of you older guys, you're out. There's no hope for you. But if you're in your mid 40s, you have a good chance.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, you know, it's all questionable. But I mean, I have seen guys in their late 50s that look great. I mean, and I look at these men and I think, yeah, I could date you, you know, but these are few and far between as far as I'm aware.
Well, Katrina, as we come to the end of this particular episode, what are some things you want people to know about dating as we age?
Look, I think it's important for women to take care of themselves and make an effort, but it's also important that the man takes care of himself and make an effort as well. I think the older we get, the more we know who we are and what we want, and we can just cut the BS because we've got no time for that. You know, I think as we age, we definitely have got a lot less tolerance than when we were younger because we're more self-aware. We've done the inner work, we know who we are, and therefore it is more difficult, I think, to match with someone, but it's all or nothing, I think, at this point in time.
You know, when I think back to how I was in terms of dating, being in a relationship to how I am now at 60, I'm very level-headed. I know
Yeah.
exactly what I want, and I've shared this, and I know you're not going to be happy with it, but I'm working between 80 and 90 hours a week. So I don't have time to mess around. You know what I mean? I don't have time to waste and go sit there with somebody, and because I'm talking to people all day, right? This is what I do for a living, and of course with the coaching. But when I was younger, it was a different story. I was very spontaneous, and I got into relationships where I wasn't treated well, and I would put up with it because I had low self-esteem. And now my self-esteem is pretty good because I've done the work. And I think that's a big takeaway for anyone, regardless of what your gender is that you do the work on yourself instead of looking for somebody else to help complete you. There's that old saying, I'm looking for my better half. And you're a whole person. who should be wanting another whole person, not a half coming together with a half. They're my thoughts.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thank you, Katrina. We have your information up here. What would you like people to know about contacting you, and who should contact you?
Well, you know, I work on relationship to self. I think once you can't find a relationship outside of yourself, you have to first come to terms with who you are, understand who you are, and understand why you do the things you do. And if you can come to terms with all of that, then you are ready to meet somebody. So I can help everybody, every single person alive today, because we all have to work on ourselves on some level or another if we want to live our best lives. And so you can get me on my website, katrinavalente.com. I'm on Instagram every day, Katrina Valente, the number 1, and also Facebook, just my name also.
Fantastic. And I think we're going to have to change your banner, because you're doing much more than what we have here as a holistic therapist, esthetician, and coach. How would you describe the work you're doing today?
You know, I'm dropping the facials, I'm dropping the aesthetics, I'm doing much more coaching, much more energy clearing online, and I'm sticking with the medical lymphatic drainage and the raindrop massage, because they're both very powerful healing modalities for the body.
Sounds great. So we will update your banner. Maybe we should change the name of the show too. We'll have a chat about it. Okay. So thank you for being here. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too, Dr. Jacalyn. Great to talk to you as always.
Thanks, you as well. And please do follow Katrina over on Instagram. Go there right now. You're watching her right now. Go over to your device, look up Katrina Valente, the number 1, and follow her there. Follow her on Facebook. Her name, Katrina Valente. Please, people, I'm asking you to do it right now. Okay, thanks. All right, bye, Katrina.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. And thanks to everybody who's watching or listening on the live or the replay. I really do appreciate it, as I know Katrina does as well. I just want to give an announcement, which is we have our official sponsor of USA Global TV and Radio. That is Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. So look for more information about their sponsorship. We have a program together with Mr. Philip Sykes and the British School of Excellence. It's called The Power of Etiquette and Manners. It's on Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. British Summer Time. And Mr. Philip Sykes has brought so many incredible people to this platform. I'm just so honored that they are our official sponsor. All right, we'll be right back with our next show. Please do stay tuned. In the interim, please go over to Instagram, follow Katrina. Please go over to Facebook, follow Katrina, and please subscribe to our channel on USA Global TV and Radio on YouTube. Thanks again. We'll be back shortly. Bye for now.